Hello, 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 TM24 here, and we are back with some more Marvel Snap content. Now, if you played it all yesterday and the day before when the peak came out, you will have seen that it was absolutely insane. So I just wanted to share some of my favorite games. But first off, if this is your first time finding the channel, welcome. I'm glad you could find it. I hope you find this video entertaining. If you are coming back, thank you for coming back. I appreciate it. My llama here appreciates it. But let's just talk about that peak and talk about those hot locations, and I'll show you some of my favorite games here. But the peak was absolutely wild. So it made it super easy to play an extremely greedy deck, fitting in things like Galactus and Professor X and Iron Man and Null and Super Skrull. It's just absolutely wild, but a ton of fun. So I had a good time playing decks like this, winning games by turn 3, and just, climbing the ranks with it. I'm not gonna lie, we definitely abused it a little bit to kind of get our rank up a bit, but hey, if they're offering it, why not do it? So this is the deck that I used. You can see there we got lots of zero or super cheap cards. We do have Galactus in there as well, and then I decided to run Professor X simply because a lot of people were playing Galactus, and I would like the opportunity to completely lock them out. And by knowing when I'm going to play Professor X, it allowed me to play all the cards that I was going to into that single lane to to not give them a chance to really do anything. So I put Professor X in there, and then of course we had to keep Super Skrull because everybody was playing Wong and Mystique, so we had to include him. Some cards like Ironheart, I thought were very, very solid, so we included that. Of course, we wanted to have Psylocke and it's built around Mr. Negative, but we wanted to include Psylocke so that we could still play the negative deck, even if we didn't hit the peak. As in this game here, you can see we were able to go Psylocke right into Mr. Negative, allowing us to play the game as if, as if it was just a regular Mr. Negative deck. Now, this, like I said, this deck was super, super greedy, but a ton of fun, and we did kind of go wild with it a little bit, but absolutely crazy. I'll just kind of commentate on these next couple games here, but these hot locations, when they're like this, it completely throws off the, I don't know what you want to call it, maybe the meta, or the natural state of the game for 24 hours. I'm glad that it doesn't last any longer than that, but you can definitely take advantage of that location during that time, and that's what we did. A ton of people were doing it. It made for some extremely fun games, some awesome highlights. So I just want to kind of share what I had going on with y'all, and like I said, we'll talk through these next couple games. You can see here I was big on using Professor X to lock some lanes down to ensure that we were going to have something here. Additionally, that wasn't our only tool. We do have Wong and like Hitmonkey, Ironheart. You could go crazy with that. I like Spider-Man to lock him out as well. Of course, we need to include Null because everyone was playing Galactus, so we've got that super powerful Null, and you can see here, it looks like I'm fighting for Nidavellir, but I also got enough power to just toss over into the Isle of Silence. I know Wong isn't, we don't get any extra value out of him, but that's not really the point. In this case, he's just power. He's an extra card played for our Hitmonkey, and you can see here that we end up taking the Isle of Silence here after having nothing there. We were still able to put down an insane amount of power. So again, super, super crazy, super fun. Lots of people playing that Rogue too, so we did use, Wong as kind of like a bait card in some instances. But yeah, even with Null not getting the destroy, we still end up winning the game, and it's no problem at all. But I think this was one of my favorite games here. If I remember correctly, we hit Iron Man, we hit Mystique, we hit Professor X and Super Skrull, and then the peak shows up, and it's just absolutely perfect for us. So you can see here, what I like to do is just kind of wait. I wanted to kind of hold until turn 3 when I can play Professor X, and then we were just super aggressive. You know, they started playing cards, which actually this was a really nice play. They played Jubilee into Zola, and they're all of a sudden pulling a bunch of cards from their deck. So absolutely nuts. They hit their Mr. Negative, which is kind of crazy as well. They had a super nice setup here, but you can see if you're just aggressive in these games, it makes it really tough for your opponent to do anything. They went ahead and they snapped on me, and you know, it really didn't matter. We go ahead, we just drop our Professor X and our Iron Man. We do get a little bit lucky in this case because they were playing Professor X as well. So they locked down with Professor X and they locked down with Mystique, which is, you know, one of the plays that we were looking to make as well. But because we've got Professor X and Iron Man, we're going to take that peak nice and easy. And then we've still got Mystique, we've still got Super Scroll. And if we play our Scroll, then we lock down the lane because of their Professor X. So again, pretty crazy. You know, we snap right back knowing that, you know, once Scroll comes down, we'll get 4. We won't get the 8. Maybe we should have held it, but also we didn't want to get locked out by a Spider-Man or something like that. In this case, they didn't play anything, and we lock them out, so we get that nice, easy dub. 4 cubes, no problem. And, you know, like I said, I was able to climb like crazy during this 24 hours. It got me nearly to infinite. So I think that, you know, you can definitely use these hot locations as a way to, you know, buff up your rank if you're having a hard time, you know, with the normal meta. If you just find a deck that works and play it well, you should have no problem climbing. So it was super fun. You can see here they got Sunspot, but the peak hits at the perfect time, and it's turn 3. We're ready to go wild, and I think if I remember correctly, we go nuts here early. Turn 3, we're trying to end the game. You know, we're getting our Professor X down. We got to be careful there with the ordering, but we get Mystique down to lock out Kamar-Taj. They play Sandman. Lots of people were playing Sandman as well, trying to slow down some of these peak decks. But that's why you got to play aggressive. You got to win that game before turn, before turn 5, turn 4, things like that. And we were able to do that. And you can see this. Our opponents are just retreating. Game over. Nice, easy win. But we weren't totally reliant on the peak either. You know, if we hit Mr. Negative, we could still pull off some pretty crazy plays. And I did play, a handful of games after the hot location ended and was still able to get some wins. So super satisfying deck when you pull it off. Extremely greedy. Not a normal Mr. Negative deck I would play. But, you can see here when your hand lines up like this, you just feel good about what you've got going on. And he hits us hard there. A little bit frustrating. We pick up Null, but unfortunately we can't do a whole lot with it. So in this instance, we didn't want Rogue to come through and take anything from us. So we were just holding off because that's what we were expecting. We were expecting Rogue to come down and take us out. But I'm pretty sure they played, I think they played Cosmo right here, and I was super confused. Oh, they played Kang. I think they played Kang and then Cosmo, which Kang is kind of an interesting inclusion, especially for the peak, because you get to take a look at what your opponent's doing. And in this case, I did absolutely nothing, no info gained. So I'm not sure I like the inclusion of Kang just because you don't get any real value there. They did come through with the Cosmo like I thought they did, and I was kind of, I was a little confused by it because I'm not sure why they would do that. It allows us to feel free just playing our Iron Man and playing things like Super Scroll and just getting some power out there. So yeah, he just allows us to play that Super Scroll. It allows us to get our Null down, and he ends up retreating, but hey, we'll take that dub. So yeah, just a quick final word. The hot locations can be super fun. They can definitely get you ranked up. You'll see here, it got me to 95 before it ran out last night. So hey, if you get the chance to take it, to take advantage of it, to abuse it and gain those ranks, go ahead and do it. Climb, and climb. But if y'all have hung around till now, I appreciate you. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, as it really does help out. But until next time, have some fun.